Hello and welcome to a channel update for May of 2021. Wow, where's time gone? All right, so I've got several things to announce, including one piece of news that, at least for me, is just exciting and splendiferous. But that's going to be last. I've got at least a couple other pieces of news that I have to get to you guys before that one, and you'll understand when I get there. So, first and foremost, anybody that watched my episode of Surviving Mars on Thursday knows that I recently got the COVID vaccine. I got it on Tuesday. It had me I slept most of the day on Tuesday or on Wednesday. I still felt like trash on Thursday, as was pretty evidenced from that episode. I haven't gone back and watched it since I edited it, but yeah. Oh man, my poor headphones. Um, but yeah. And then Friday, I was mostly better, but was having some dizzy spells. So it was not a good idea for me to go out and do my normal driving around. So I spent some time here at home, getting a couple other things done. I'll get back to that in a moment. The next piece of news. My friend Becky over at BekkiDoodles, I will link her Twitch channel in the description, if so long as I remember. Um, I will link her Twitch channel down in the description. Um, Recently got a new drawing tablet. Great. She decided that she would give away her old one, and she ended up giving it to me, which I am very happy about, because this means that once I have it set up and working, which it's not yet, it's actually sitting right here in a very crinkly sounding bag that the cat likes to play with. Um, Once it is set up and working, assuming I get it working, this will enable me to do some projects for the channel that I've been putting off. As anybody who has actually watched my terrible and cringy welcome video um, knows, this channel is intended for all types of gaming, not just video gaming. I intend to have tabletop content. I intend to have content for live action role playing games. So the main reason this has been primarily gaming content, however, is because it's the fastest to produce. I'll never break that target of 1,000 subscribers if I don't put out content regularly. So that's why it's 5 days a week. Bam, 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 bam. Here's videos. Mind you, I enjoy video gaming as well. It was just not the only thing I wanted the channel to ever be. I have put out some sporadic other content, obviously, but this should allow me to do some of my planned tabletop content, because I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it without just flat out saying what it is. I've got some stuff that is instructional, some instructional stuff for tabletop games. And by that I mean tabletop RPGs primarily. Things like Dungeons and Dragons would be the most well known. But I don't want it to be me sitting here talking to the camera like the channel update. This would be boring if I'm just sitting here pontificating about a thing. So I've always intended to have some sort of visuals. This will now allow me to do some very minor animation type stuff. Obviously, I have the smidgen of talent. The smidgen of talent. I am I'll put it this way. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was an artist. I believe she actually got paid for some of her paintings. My mother, talented. I mean, she's not professional in any means. She's talented. I got a smidgen of that talent. Um, so we'll see how it goes. This is all, of course, assuming I actually get it up and operational. Now, I told you those first two pieces of information so I could tell this story. And I apologize, it'll be a little bit rambly, but there is a big announcement at the end. So, almost 3 years ago now, in the end of July of 2018, I went and purchased several $100s worth of supplies, packed it and my roommate into the car, and drove 4 hours north, that way's north, um, to a cabin that I was loaned the use of, with the intention of shooting a dozen episodes of a brand new series that is live action role playing, LARP related. I only ended up shooting 7 of them because I had let's call it a wardrobe malfunction. There was an important piece of garb that didn't work out, which prevented me from shooting 5 of the episodes because they were that I kind of split them up a little bit into different genres. So if I couldn't do one of the genres, it prevented me from recording the episodes that were set for that. But I recorded 7 of them. Um, of course, I had brought a old laptop along with to store the footage because I didn't really have a proper grasp in my mind of how much space this this camera has available on it. So it's got a little USB hookup, so I could just transfer the files straight to a laptop, and I wasn't going to pack up my desktop to take with me, so it was just there for data storage. So all of the information went onto that, and I did it. The following day, which was actually the first day of month 7, July, we drove home that evening because after we had filmed a little bit more, because there is one episode that required one half in the evening, one half after the overnight. Um, so after finishing recording that, we went home, had stopped for a late lunch, early dinner along the way at a fairly well-known restaurant. It was en route. Got home. I went to turn the laptop on, and the power button broke. I was now stuck with 7 episodes worth of footage that I had just shot, just spent hundreds of dollars making on a broken laptop. Okay, no big deal. I, I happened to know that I had recently been given a external hard drive enclosure that would solve the problem. I just didn't know where it was. In point of fact, I still don't know where it is. So the laptop got set next to my computer here so that I would remember that that is the dead one that has the footage on it, and it sat. And periodically, over time, I would plug it in, try to turn it on. Nope, the power button's still broken. Whatever. So we come along to Friday. I am having the occasional dizzy spell from the COVID vaccine, but otherwise I'm feeling fine. Like all of my joint pain and all that stuff, the generally needing to be laying down, all that sort of stuff is gone. So I'm like, all right, I need to do some stuff around the house. I'm like, well, just the previous weekend is when I had picked up the tablet from my friend Bekki. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to clear out space to get the tablet set up, which I'm still working on. I'm still working on that part of the process. You'll find out why in a moment. So I start cleaning. I start, cleaning, reorganizing, and I come across the laptop. And in my typical fashion, I'm like, all right, I'll plug it in and see if I can get it to turn on. I still don't know where my external hard drive enclosure has gotten to. I know where it should be. I just haven't had the dedicated time to go do that in almost 3 years. I haven't had the dedicated time to clean the spot that I'm almost certain it is, beyond some initial moving stuff around looking for it. So I go, and a miracle happens. It turns on. the bloody laptop turns on that time. I've tried at least 5 or 6 times to turn that laptop on, and it hadn't done it. Well, it did it this time. So, miracle of miracles, it's on. All right, again, make sure it's connected into the Wi-Fi. I make sure that I can see it on my main computer here. I start transferring files. For the next 3.5 hours, my focus is on making sure that laptop doesn't go to sleep and that nothing is happening to the file transfer. I basically stopped doing everything else. I shut down all kinds of extraneous programs on the computer, pretty much everything. The files have transferred. They are intact. I have gone in and checked most of them to make sure they open. All of them have thumbnails, auto-generated thumbnails. So I have the footage for 7 episodes of a LARP-related series from almost 3 years ago, and I will be going through the process of editing them and getting them uploaded to the channel. After 3 years of waiting, that series that I have been occasionally teasing because I always intended on getting that footage off and, getting this made, it'll finally be happening. Now, it is a live action series. These episodes are going to be varied in length. It kind of depends on the subject matter of each one, but I think I was kind of shooting for the half-hour target on each of them. So as you can imagine, these are going to require a lot of editing. And some of them, I vaguely recall I'm going to have to actually make some assets for as well, and hope that I can find the information that was used from 3 years ago for some of them. So it's not going to happen immediately. But my hope is that by the end of next month, by the end of June, I will have at least one of the episodes up and ready. And because of a little bit of the fiddly bits of the way this works, once the first one is up and ready, the second one will be easier to make. You'll understand when you see it why that is, but the first one is going to require the most effort, and then the rest of them will be slightly easier. Obviously, varying from each of them how much it'll take, but at that point, I don't know. For some reason, my brain is telling me I mentioned Patreon in them. If I did, I don't have it. I never got it set up because the footage was trapped. Like, I found that out the day I got back. So if I do mention it, I don't currently have one. Otherwise, it's going to be dependent on the response. If there is a good response, I have 5 more episodes scripted. And once the lockdown and restrictions and such from the pandemic are lifted to a certain point, I could theoretically go spend more money and get them recorded. At the very least, those 5, assuming that I don't, get into it and have ideas for more. So that'll entirely depend on the response I get. If I get a great response, if I suddenly get an influx of subscribers because this is slightly different than what the channel has normally done, then I'll put in the effort and do it. If not, you know what? It's 7 episodes of content that I already did. Yeah, I'm going to be putting in the effort to edit, but I want to see them done. As cringy as I may feel myself being on camera at times, I still want to see the content that I started 3 years ago get made. So that was the big announcement. That was the splendiferous miracle that happened, was this stupid laptop finally managed to turn on. It has since gone to sleep and I can't get it to wake up again. So because the power button is once again not responding, which is of course how you bring it out of sleep mode. So I got the information off of it. That was the important part. It's now trash again. But I can now get back to cleaning up this area, getting that tablet set up, get some other new content. I am excited to be able to get some of this stuff, finally moving. That said, I'm only about halfway through recording my episodes for this upcoming week, so I have at least two more to do. Um, and that is something I need to get back to. So I'll be putting this one up. I'll set it up for noon today, which is about an hour from now. Should be enough time to get this edited and uploaded. A very minor edit on this, but uploaded. Hopefully, I remember to link BekkiDoodles in the description. My many thanks to her because that triggered most of this to happen. Because I wouldn't have been cleaning that day if I hadn't have needed the space. So, which meant that I would never have gotten the laptop plugged in. It would never have been turned on, and we wouldn't have those videos coming. So, my thanks to her if she actually watches this, which she probably isn't. But and until next time, have a good one.